What does that sound, you ask?
Welcome to the Rec Show podcast, a show dedicated to beat makers around the world. Kick back, relax with the host, Gldnmnd.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Big Baker's Club.
This man is one of Jamaica's foremost record producers. He's not only a record producer, he's a songwriter, a poet, a musician, a video expert, and overall a Rasta man. I'd like you to meet a genius. The man I'm talking about.
He just makes the music. He just makes the music. He just makes the music. He just makes the He just makes the music. He just makes the music and mixes it to his specifications. None of it's mixed down. It's mixed down. Yeah, I mean it's mixed down, but just mixed down at the house.
My mix.
His mix. Question back there. What exactly is that?
You can do any type of music on there. Any type of
Is it?
any type of music on there.
What do you listen to?
Music. King Tubby. Like it's just like anything else. It's just small. So people are like, You made all that with this? You made all that with this? You made all that with this?
All right, check 1 2. Peace and love, everybody. Gldnmnd here for the Rec Show podcast, man. Yo, episode number 99, y'all. Episode number 99. We almost to a hundo, and we're gonna keep going. I told y'all every week is gonna keep getting better and better, and this week is no different. But let me recap for y'all that don't know. If y'all listening, you already know last week we had I Love Supreme California, which is a collaborative team that put together beat shows and stuff like that on Ontario, California. I had to keep Canada out of the way. It's California, Ontario, California. So I need y'all to tap into that show. The week before that, we had Gldnmnd from Florida, a 20-year beat maker. Air Force veteran, one of my brethren. So yeah, man, I need y'all to tap in and just check out the whole archive and stuff like that. Check out the link tree. You can support at the link tree and things like that. But let's get into this week, man. So I was interviewing Mazrock, Flipabeatclub alum, man, the architect, and he was telling me, yo, man, you gotta get Bap Notes on the show. And I'm like, okay. All right, let me do my research. Started doing my research. I'm thinking it was just one person, and then I did more research, and then boom, it's a band. So y'all, Bap Notes is my very first band on the show, and I'm let me go over my show notes because I always got notes, but they are a hip hop band with influences jazz, soul, R&B. If you've never seen them live in Sacramento and you live in Sacramento, smack yourself, because you need to go see them live, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm looking at videos on YouTube and I'm like, man, I wish I was there, So I'm missing a lot of shows. One day when I come back from California, I'll definitely go. But this group forms like Voltron, all right? With their unique set of skills, talents to create amazing music and share it with the world. They're based out of Sacramento, California. They performed at like 12's Wax, Serato's Loop Session, Slim and Huskies. They performed at, parks, aquariums, like wherever you think. They performed in Sacramento somewhere, man. So I need y'all to tap in. Even joining forces with like Mazrock, the architect of Flipabeatclub, Dirty Mumbles to form like DMKTZ, DMKTZ. But then they've been nominated for a Sacramento Music Award and the Sacramento Black Music Award for the Best R&B Band. Yo, they got some accolades, y'all. Stop playing with them, man. So I want y'all to please welcome Russell Brown, Mark Knox, Rod Nice, E Quest, Courtney Miller, Darius Upshaw, David Pritchard. Man, welcome Bap Notes Music to the show. Welcome to the show, everybody. How y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all can everybody.
Yo. We good, man. You said mute the mic. We didn't know what you wanted to do.
So listen, man, listen. Yo, I'm gonna have each and every one of y'all introduce yourselves. We'll start with Russell Brown. Can you introduce yourself? You know, what instruments you play for Bap Notes Music, please?
Yeah, I'm Russell Brown, and I play guitar.
All right.
And occasional bass, but mostly guitar.
Yeah. So, okay, eQuest. What instrument? Who are you, and what instrument do you play?
Yeah. So again, eQuest or EJ. I play the keys, bass a lot. I play the spoons and the forks. No, I'm joking. But yeah, mostly keys and some bass. Key bass.
Keys and bass. Got you. Mr. Pritchard.
I'm David Pritchard, aka Dirty Mumbles or DM or whatever they want to call me. I play the drum pads, you know, the MPC pads and samples, and try and do whatever I can to contribute to this amazing band.
Got you. Welcome to the show, Rod Nice.
Yo.
Yeah.
I play keys, you know, engineer us and record us and mix us and stuff like that, you know.
I got you. Yo, first of all, welcome to the show, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you on the Rec Show podcast. It's my honor, man. And for the internets that might not know, like I only gave them a little bit of like who y'all are. But for those that don't know, if somebody wants to chime in, if y'all can give them a little bit more information of, you know, what Bap Notes, like, first of all, how'd that name come about? And then how'd y'all decide to become a band?
I mean, yeah, I'll add in a little bit, and then I'm sure you can add in a little bit too. So I think from origins, we were like a hip hop band, existing members. We were a group called the Attic Merchants. And again, I know that you only know us from Sacramento, but basically we have accolades in the Bay Area. I mean, you know, we've rocked with any and all kinds of groups, KRS-One, The Far Side, you know, some members of the Roots. I mean, we've done quite a bit, you know, and got quite a bit of a resume. But again, started as the Attic Merchants, which again was a hip hop band specifically. And then we kind of morphed into the Bap Notes. And again, it's kind of every genre. So again, we're hip hop fused with jazz, fused with funk, fused with, polka. No, I'm joking. Fused with every kind of music. But again, R&B, jazz, soul, hip hop. We're just, stewards of it all.
I got you, Rod. Did you want to chime in?
Yeah, I did join the Attic Merchants for a couple of times when they kind of midway through their journey. I joined the Attic Merchants, then bounced back out, and then joined them later on towards the end of the Attic Merchants. But I originated from a group called the Original Heads in the 90s, and therein I met a person who had basically taught me a lot more than what I was learning, but he taught me, that this music, and that's Russell Brown. And when he joined the group, the Original Heads, we did stuff for, we did some snippets for Girlfriends, the show. I don't know if you remember that from the 90s, Girlfriends. We also did,
Yeah.
from the original heads, we did a song for Faith Evans called Lucky Day. From there, and then, like I said, in and out of the Attic Merchants from the original heads. And once the original heads stopped gigging and Attic Merchants stopped gigging, we started getting together in my garage, and we started just jamming. Russell, Mark Knox, Chris Wigington, which is a phenomenal guitarist and bass player and writer of music and songs himself, and EJ, and we just, that little group right there formed. We were trying to think of a name, and we wanted it to really explain what we were about. We liked hip hop. So our original get down was hip hop, but we're becoming better musicians, and we were learning more and more things, which is where I was talking about earlier, where I started to really expand, was when I got more and more information from learning Russell Brown's songs, because he had all these damn chords and extensions and flat nines and sus chords, and he really taught me a lot about how to voice your chords and how to get around and speak the language of music. And I learned a lot of that from Russell Brown. I got a good foundation from Will Prince and Harley White, was from the original heads. But Russell kind of took me to another level when it came to learning songs. So we wanted that name to explain hip hop and music at the same time. So we said Bap Notes. So explaining the musical notes, you know what I mean? And then, once Bap Notes, like I said, we've morphed into all kind of things over the years, which, sometimes things come together and fall apart. We're just like any other solar system. We'll gather in all the dust and form a planet, and then here comes an asteroid, boom, smacks us, and we'll blow up again, and we'll form a ring, and then we'll coalesce again into something else. And that's kind of how our group has been, and so that's, and then I met David Pritchard through Cornelius Daniels, which was our drummer in our group too. We still produce together, me and Cornelius, but we met David Pritchard, and David kind of took us to this tech world that neither one of us want to really mess with. And David took us to another level of, getting stuff out to people, letting people hear, because we wasn't messing with Instagram and stuff. David was like, man, it's nothing. It's this, it's that. Then he connected us with Dan Lish to make that artwork. And here we are today. And David is a phenomenal beat maker in himself. He, Dirty Mumbles. He won't say it, but he's actually quite incredible. And and we have more information when some more new music we got coming up too. So that I'll chime out and let Russell chime in.
Yes, Mr. Brown. Yes. So
what do you want me to
say? So what Rod was talking about, when he said something that I heard everything, but when he said music, speak the language of music is what you learn, what he learned from you. Can you go into the language of music? Because I'm like kind of getting into Sun Ra Orchestra right now, and he talks about music being a language as well, and you take it seriously because it's not to be played with. So can you go into a little bit of detail about music as a language?
Well, music really transcends language, so it encompasses it as well, and that's why it can have an impact on any and everyone. And for myself, I just get to a quiet place and things just come out, and I'm not sure why they come out, but they just come out. And I just been following the sort of vibrations that's been going through my head, really, and just fortunate enough to meet people that are open enough to hear it. So, it's been a journey for all of us, really. And as far as actually getting down into the nitty-gritty part of chord structures and scales and all that sort of thing. I mean, I think if anything, it's like we hearing this stuff in us, and maybe we just don't know how to voice it right. And I say, if anything, maybe I probably showed Rod a way of how we can just voice some of the things I know is already resonating with him. Because it's pretty much resonating with all of us. So just matter just getting it out, and this is how you do it. This is how I do it. I ain't gonna say it's the right way, but it feels good. And I think that more than anything is a lot about what we are. Is not only, more than anything, making music that feels good, that makes you want to get up, makes you want to maybe cry or something. But it's all about what is vibrating within you and being able to add some structure to it, and maybe some beat to it, and have some fun with it.
Man, evoke some type of emotion, right? That's basically what it is, right? Evoke some type of emotion, whether it be, express joy, laughter, cry, get angry. Like there's all types of music that speak to every one of those emotions that we experience while we're here on this earth. So, but yes, I completely agree. Man, I said music as a language, but it transcends language. I got you, man. Okay, so here's my next question. What was the spark for y'all to come together, and like Voltron, man? Like, what was that spark? Where did that spark come from? Who did that spark come from? And then you started calling up everybody, like, yo, I got this band. Yo, come, I know you nice. Come get with it.
Well, it wasn't really of I got this band or I come do this. It was just a matter of us getting together on Wednesdays.
In the garage, right?
You ain't doing nothing, come through. And we just got together on Wednesdays and opened my garage and started playing. We didn't have no intentions or any type of purpose. It was just come vibe. And things we were playing resonated with one another. It wasn't a formal thing at all. It was just come through. Let's rock, maybe EJ, you can tap in on some of that too. You could tell because you was there. Russell was there. I'll let you speak on it, so.
For sure. Like he said, it was definitely a vibe, and it was, I think that, kind of in the wake of, all of our band journeys and, musical journeys, like, Rod's Garage had just become, the haven to where you go and you can express yourself however you wanted to express yourself. So it became that. And, pretty soon, we're writing music, recording sessions, and it's starting to just morph into something different. It's not just, a feel-good session. Well, it is a feel-good session in addition to, this thing that's becoming viable. So, and it just kept growing.
Man, amazing. So Rod's Garage is where it started, just the simplest idea, no intentions, and then boom, and here we are today. How long have y'all been together as a Bap Notes Music?
since about, I would say formally about 2016. We started before that, but I would say 16, we started gigging. We used to gig at this place called On Broadway. And I think we were really at the height of what Bap Notes was really about. That band was really tight. It was really tight. It was funky, it was jazzy, it was bluesy, it was hip hop, it was reggae, it was everything. It was really super tight. And we started off with, maybe 10 people in there. And next minute we know it was standing room only, it was packed. And then, like I said, an asteroid hit and it blew up the planet and we broke into little pieces again. And, it is what it is, but we're still here. God gave us the wherewithal and the presence and the luckiness to still be here to converse with you at this time and space. So, everything is everything. I guess it's all in a plan,
God's plans, So, okay, here's my question, because we talked to beat makers, music producers, composers, all three of those, put together. But I wanted to ask each of you, what your earliest memory of music, or more specifically, hip hop, jazz, funk. What was your? Because we celebrating 50 years of hip hop this year. So, what's your earliest memory that's stuck with, that's still with you to this day? And anybody can chime in right after the other.
I'll start first. My introduction into hip hop was my mother. I came home and she was playing a record by the Sugar Hill Gang. And then she put on another record by the Cold Crush Brothers. And I'm like, this is tight. Why they talking fast, but it sounds good and the music feels good. So that was my earliest recognition of hip hop to me personally, because my mother showed it to me. She said, I knew you would like this. I had a young mother, she had me when she was 16 actually. And so I have a young mom. But that was my earliest recognition of hip hop. Now, what resonated with me was the funk. George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic. That resonated with me. And along with hip hop too, but that was the thing that always really moved me emotionally, was that funk. I'll let somebody else chime in now though.
Yeah, for me, I think I was at we call it a jumble sale, but it was it's like a, what do they call it here? A swap meet. And I found it. My dad was really big into getting records back in the day. And I saw a James Bond record, it must have been like 3 or 4 years old. And it was a big band jazz music, and I was like hooked with the headphones on, listening to that. And then like breakdance, the movies, and like it was pretty much a phenomenon in the early 80s, right? People breaking, b-boys, b-girls. And I wanted to be there. I wanted to breakdance, and watching all the breakdance movies and like all the electro, mantronics and all those good things. That was my early introduction into it. And it stayed with me. It stayed with me now, right? From childhood. And then there was a little break in the 90s where I went to, got myself into drum and bass, where there's a hip hop type beat, but a lot faster, more drum breaks. And that, at that point, was when I really started getting into funk and jazz music, because I was really digging for breaks at that point, to make breakbeat sounds and drum and bass. And I really didn't discover that part of music until then, the funk and the jazz, all those really rare groove sounds. That was my kind of my journey, and now, you know, going back to your previous question as well about, you know, what Russ really said about the music and how it feels, you know, this common language that we all speak. It really resonates with me. It's a feel. I don't know what it is, man. I've no idea how it makes me tick, and feels good and feels nasty and strong, but it's there, you know. And I've been blessed. I've been super blessed to have. I've been in the US for 20 years, and it wasn't until recently when Korn introduced me to Rod in his garage a few years ago, and I felt like I've met my family, and I felt like I've hit the quest, you know, hit that. Yeah, I've been really lucky, but yeah, the hip hop has been with me, or been a part of me since, you know, like Rod hearing that first record, you know, Sugar Hill Gang or something like that, Cold Crush Brothers. It's been with me ever since. So it's a little bit about me.
Got you. Dirty Mumbles. Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
So Russell Brown or E-Crush, y'all want to chime in your earliest memories?
Yep. I'll just say I grew up in hip hop. You know, like obviously, you know, I had a uncle who lived with us, and basically he had records in his room, so he used to spin obviously R&B, you know, Mike Jackson, all of the early soul R&B stuff. But then, like, you know, hip hop came, and it seems like I've always been listening to hip hop. So, you know, I grew up in the Detroit, and I mean, that's really all I know. I mean, and then, you know, jazz came, and then basically jazz, I fell in love with jazz, but to me it was, you know, they're related. Jazz and hip hop and, you know, all that stuff is related. So, you know, again, definitely the vibe, but yeah, hip hop, jazz, you know, some funk, you know, it's all related. So that's kind of where I got my start.
I got you.
So, because hip hop, it was the next evolution of bebop and jazz and all that. I mean, I was listening to blues and jazz, and I was introduced to it through my mom. You know, she just said, and I had like some Booker T and MGs. Right? I was really into listening to guitar music, really, even and Jimi Hendrix and all that stuff. And then later, and then it was all kind of R&B stuff around me, but I just wanted to hear guitars playing. So before I knew it, you know, I'm hearing other elements. Miles Davis came along, and he was about grooving and steady beat, you know, and just laying it down over that. And so, you know, years later, everything started morphing, and before you know it, you know, you got hip hop, and it was just the next step. It was just the next direction to go. And these fellas here just pulled me along with it. You know? So, and I'm grateful, you know, I'm so grateful to just, you know, all of a sudden you look, hey, how'd I get here? And I don't know, it may have started on the basketball court, but but you know, that's how we did it, though. You know, it's how I came along, at least.
So okay, I'm gonna keep y'all in y'all's memories right now, man, because I always like listening to when y'all come with y'all stories, because everybody's story is different, right? But you know, we all love music, obviously, so that's why we're having the conversation. But when we talk about like the greatest, you know, album of all time, whether it be hip hop, whether it be jazz, whether it be funk, whether it be or anything, each one of y'all has a greatest album. Like if you were stuck on an island and you only can pick one album, what would that album be? You know? Anybody can chime in whenever y'all get y'all memories ready.
Honestly, I'm gonna say it was probably the Tribe album for me. The first Tribe album, because nothing sounded like it. Everybody wanted when you heard it, it was distinctive. And don't get me wrong, everybody's music back, in the late '80s and early '90s was distinctive, but to me, it was Tribe for me.
For me, I'm a bit of an atmosphere kind of guy, the sounds and soundscapes and stuff. For me, I'm like really into the ambience of music and how like the engineering goes, and that's why I'm like listening to Rod and it just blows me away. For me though, it was Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd, with all the soundscapes, all the kind of like the blues and the jazz and just all the things that are going on, all that chaos, but how it's layered and makes them. I mean, I've listened to it for decades, and it still rings true. It's still so good. But for that's where something I could probably take to Desert Island. Thank you.
For me, I would have to say it would be probably Slum Village, Fantastic Volume 2. I can, that's got a lot of sound, a lot of places to go on that record. I mean, I can name some others, but that one right there, I would listen to that one over and over. That one would get me. I like the grooves on it. Dilla was a phenomenal producer, great sampler, all that. So it was that I go with that one, as of late.
Yeah, recently I've been revisiting Band of Gypsies. Live at the Jimi Hendrix live at the Fillmore with Buddy Miles and Billy Cox. And yeah, I was saying Band of Gypsies, Jimi Hendrix, and then eventually Herbie Hancock started really doing some nice, just you say atmospheric stuff and just playing with sound and yeah, all that stuff too. Headhunters. Yeah, just so much. It was just so much in there,
Man, okay, so that's the albums on y'all. I don't want to say that's like y'all Mount Olympus albums. And I'm gonna talk to y'all about y'all's recent releases, especially the what's the ones we're talking about? The Record Store, volumes 1, 2, 3, and then y'all have a new album coming out, but we'll get to that one in a minute. But so I got a lot of beat makers that are younger that are always looking for different sounds and different records to listen to, get that experience, figure out like what were they doing back in the day, and why are these albums still standing true with the sounds and stuff like that. People keep listening to them 20 years later, 30 years later, 40 years later. So that's why I asked that question. But I did want to ask you a question about and anybody can chime in because I'm not sure who participates in it, but y'all do work inside of the community in Sacramento with the Sacramento Hip Hop Education Collective. So I don't know who can speak to that, but can y'all tell me a little bit about that collective? Because I know Mons Rock is a part of that as well. And then, you know, who is that collective built for?
It's actually Freeze. He's not in this Zoom call right now, which I did send him the link and he knew about it. But he's in New York right now at a hip hop conference, educational hip hop conference. So Freeze is connected. He's Dr. Freeze. He has a PhD and he is using hip hop to educate the youth, which I think is great. So he can speak to them at the same time about that. He has had the Bap Notes come and we've played music at some of his events. And we also had, I've done beat sets for the Soul Collective, which is the educational thing that he has at Sac City College. So he is really the one that spearheads that one right there for his events. And we will come and, you know, supply some music and sounds and things like that for his events, tied into education.
Yeah, you know, it's so much mentorship happening, so much education, so many collectives like reaching out to, you know, these colleges and stuff like that. I know DiBiase's got one with Berkeley College. Is it Berkeley College?
Yes.
Yeah, Berkeley College. Sample mode.
Yes.
And then Mons Rock is teaming up with the community colleges, and everybody's like, I've never seen this before, where there's people actually building things to talk to the young kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's needed more now than ever, because a lot of kids like the pandemic kind of messed everybody up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's a tremendous outlet. So for my listeners that may not know, check out Sample Mode. I'll link it in the description of the show as well. Check out the collective that I was just talking about, the Sacramento Hip Hop Education Collective. Sacramento, like California, has been doing some amazing things all over California, and California's huge, but I just wanted to shed light on that real quick. But then I gotta talk about y'all's albums, right? We gotta talk about a few of the albums, incredible albums, like Share, which is the first album that y'all put out. I gotta talk about that. My favorite joint on that is Joy, by the way, because that's I don't know what Joy is.
That's great, because we can give a big shout out to Ode to Saturday, Deja and Jordan, incredible writers and singers, very talented young people, very you know, that's family to me, those two, you know, and they are just incredible. They write on the spot. You know, it's nothing to them to come to a session and write something and sing it right there. They're just incredible musicians. Check out their music too. Ode to Saturday.
Ode to Saturday. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out as well, man. So I'm a sucker for like brass, drums, like pianos, keyboards. Like for some reason, like it's just always in my brain. But the Record Store volumes 1 through 3, like you got. Now, for my listeners, because y'all need to do your research, get y'all. I'm gonna link it, so do your research. You got Volume 1, which is the top floor.
Yeah.
You got Volume 2, which is the basement, and then Volume 3, which is the dollar bins. Right. Yes. So, can you talk about, you know, like why you broke it up in the 3 volumes, but then talk about top floor, the basement, because I know it's some gems in there for my samplers.
Well, yeah, the top floor is more R&B vibes on that one, with the talent all on there, mostly local people, you know, except for Jermaine Holmes, the background singer for D'Angelo. You know, everybody's local. It's just, you know, some grooves, just, people hang out with us, send them, hey, I got something for that, just, how things come together. And then the volume 2 is more vocal for hip hop, a lot of cats rhyming over the beats, we make, you know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff is stuff we'll make and we'll sample ourselves and make it into a beat, And then the dollar bin is just a lot of garage beats that we had, we just make them into little somethings and, put them all together. Just like I said, we have terabytes of music that just needs to be put out, but it's just, there's so much, it's kind of overwhelming.
What do we need to do in order to help y'all do that? That's what I want to know.
We need several engineers to come in and help mix all that stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of us work full time, and we do the music because we love it and we do our thing with it. That's just what is in us. We want to do music regardless. It's just time, and time is coming to where we can still put out a bunch of music, you know what I'm saying? So that's that. It's just time, it's time to just go over the files and start mixing, do some editing and put it out, man.
Gotcha. So there's another album that we have to throw in here too, which is called DMKTZ, but it's called Versions, right? So available on Bandcamp right now. I need y'all to go check this out. This is if y'all ever come out with a cassette or a vinyl for this, I know it's gonna be a double cassette already off the top, So because there's so many tracks, man, so many fire tracks. But y'all join forces with so it's Bap Notes that joins forces with Mons Rock and then Dirty Mumbles. You have your, I think it's either 10 or 12 tracks on there as well. Anybody Dirty Mumbles, can you talk about that album and how that came together? And right now it's slept on, and that album need to be pumped up a lot higher right now. For real.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Rod and Mons, myself, been talking about making a beat tape for years, and as you know, Mons has been really energized and getting the community and doing the Flipabeatclub and just being a big voice. And he was like, okay, it's time to get going, and he started dumping track after track after track in the shared drive. It's like, oh shit, I gotta really start getting some stuff out together. And as Rod said, sometimes it's hard, but all of us work full-time jobs trying to juggle our time, but finally we got some beats together, enough beats to, well, I did, for me at least, to mix them all together and try and come at this approach differently. I wanted it to sound like a tape that I used to listen to back in the day, back in the 90s, deeper concentration albums, with the old Mr. Dibs or the old Cuba, kind of bring some atmosphere into the tracks. I sent Rod and Mons my sample set of my tracks and how I've mixed them together, and I think that sparked a new idea on how to mix the rest of the album so it sounded more like a mixed beat tape than just individual tracks one after another. I wanted to have some flow and actually have some meaning behind it, and then I know that all of us kind of try to figure out a way to a title for the album and think version. I think Rod came up with the name Versions because we had so many different varieties and flavors of music coming into it. And then then we kind of collaborated on the concept artwork as well on that too. But really enjoyed that.
Man, so I mean, that whole album is incredible. You know, it's a lot of standout tracks, but City of Sacrifice that y'all
That's
did,
right.
like, holy
Yeah.
crap, man. Like, I was like, yo, like, what were you on that day, yo, when you was making that, man? Like,
you know, it's just discovering, you know, samples and stuff. You hear something, oh, you know, you make a track. Let's do it. You know what I mean? That's all that is. You know, as a beat maker, you find inspiration from anywhere. You know, you hear something, you sample it. You know what I mean? The newer cats these days, you know, when they find the stuff they sample, you know, I want to give a shout out to the kid. He'll sample a spoon falling on the ground, and he'll start, you know, make beat out of that, you know. So which is great, you know, which is great. Definitely Dirty Mumbles and Mons Rock is, you know, just when you put something with them cats, oh, there go Fresco right there. There go Dr. Freeze just chiming in. Yo, peace.
What up, peace.
New York, big city and dreams.
Yo, sorry for the
Everything in New York ain't always what it seems.
Straight up.
Yeah, man, but that is that concept of you know, when I came up with the City of Sacrifice, it was big. You know, it actually, I had the sample for a while. I hadn't used it, you know, so just put some beats to it, did some little cuts on it, loops, little chops here and there. So it came out pretty good. I'm glad you liked it, man. I really appreciate it.
yeah, man, y'all we need a cassette, like, cause I collect cassettes. So like cassettes and vinyl. Man, if y'all ever come out with a cassette or a vinyl for that, like,
yeah, we got to
man,
pay for it though. That's all. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's so okay, let's introduce Dr. Freeze, right? My wife is cracking me up right now. Let's introduce Dr. Freeze, man. Dr. Freeze, welcome to the Reg Show podcast, man. If you can you introduce yourself, you know, and what you do within the Bap Notes music, the band?
Word. Well, man, apologies for the late arrival. You know, my East Coast time calculations are all out of whack. So anyways, and thank you, for having us, man. So I'm an MC, man, and so I know, was EJ on earlier? I just saw his text. That's what prompted me to jump in. Was EJ on earlier? But we originally had a group called the Attic Merchants, which was a live band. And, you know, there was always this collaborative kind of existence that happened with Rod Nice, who was, you know, known for just doing all kinds of really, really dope music. One of the kind of the foundational live band groups in our area called the Original Heads. That was a big influence on our sound and our interest in kind of pursuing, you know, just the frequencies of live music with hip hop. And so it was just like a natural progression that as the Merchants kind of fell into its own direction and I guess, you know, transitioned out of existence, a natural kind of collaboration and blend happened with Rod and EJ and myself. And it evolved through a few different steps. I don't know if you mentioned the Pac 10, and so these different projects and the Bap Notes kind of became the final stamp, which is, you know, and things have just elevated from there since the kind of creation of the Bap Notes. And because I think it really anchored the direction of what we were trying to do musically, as well as just the process, you know, and with Mons and all these other cats, just the collaborations just kind of organically sprouted to all the stuff that folks are stumbling into now with the Flipabeatclub and all this other stuff. So I've always been, you know, as an MC, but also just a kind of a curator and creative of trying to connect dots and come up with concepts and ideas of how to best just find that frequency that fulfilled us, you know. And I think a lot of the work and music that we would cook up, I think that was the baseline, right? It's like how it created this kind of, I keep going back to the word frequency, but there's a frequency that I think we always, anybody that's that sees music as an integral part of their identity, there's a frequency we find ourselves pursuing that allows us to kind of return back to this space of growth, you know what I mean? And it just feels right, you know what I mean? It's like when you hear a song, whether it's somebody else's or whether you're working on something, there's this moment where it just hits you in a way where you could just like physically feel it, you know. And I think that's the beauty of the way we work, is we're constantly just kind of in this flow of finding this groove and finding that frequency, which is always rooted in, you know, heavy drums. And, you know, so even if we start getting into like some more soulful stuff or some jazzier stuff, there's always this like root that's always like this hard, you know, I don't use it to like, you know, some boom bap, you know what I mean? Like it's always like the essence of whatever cats get into. And so it's fulfilling, you know, just as a creative, to be in a space and to be around cats that are constantly pushing themselves and pushing the collective to be, you know, innovative and kind of grow and, you know, pursue that frequency. And so that's kind of how I fit into the fold, right? I'm just kind of always in that mix, whether a fly on the wall or an active participant, you know what I mean?
Got you, man. Thank you for that. Thank you for that breakdown, man. Welcome to the show, man. You're the second person. Actually, no, because you're Dr. Freeze, and then I got Dr. B Moon. Dr. B Moon just got like he just got a what do you call that, tenureship somewhere at a university.
Oh, word.
But,
yeah, so I just go by Freeze, and you know, I actually did complete my doctorate recently, so so you ain't wrong.
Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yo. So I got to talk about, like, allow me to geek out with y'all about the album Share, right? Because like, y'all, this is another one y'all got to put on vinyl, man. Like the world needs this, yo. Like the world needs this album, man. Like It's Raining, man. That's an emotional track, man. Like I almost cried a thug tear, man. You know, like it's that good. You know, I mean, I'm just sitting back listening. I'm like, man, like it's one of them tracks, man. So, well, like, how did that album come together? Like, because that's your first one together, right? Putting it out.
Yeah, EJ, you still there? If you are, he's the one who named it. And he named it It's Raining because we actually recorded it, and it was raining outside. We were in the garage during the wintertime. It was a little chilly in there, but we recorded it at that time, and you know, Russell was there, and we just came up with these chord changes, and then we had Garrett Perkins, a great phenom on saxophone. He plays saxophone on it. And he's another Sacramento native. You know, he's a child phenom. He's been playing sax like that for years. But that's how that one came together. We just vibing. Another garage session. You know, mostly that whole album shares from the garage. We actually recorded it in the garage.
Wow.
It's just that whole vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know, to reiterate your earlier point, man, like same, like that album will, you know, I feel like I constantly, because I have so much music like saved on my platforms, like stuff will just be recycled and new things or old things will pop up, like, oh man, I heard that in a minute, and that joints from that album will pop up periodically, and then I'll just immediately hit Rod, like, yo, this is like, we should chop this song up and revisit it. Like, it's so much, like, it's such a dope essence that these cats tapped into, from Russ and, you know, EJ and Rod. It was just you know, and you could feel that thread throughout the whole album, which was just, you know, it's just dope.
Chris Wigington and Mark.
Yeah, word.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's what I told you. That band right there was the band. That band right there. We were actually, we could have got signed. Not that if we were looking to be signed, but you know, it was some things that went on where some execs was in the audience. But you know, it's just like I said, asteroid hit the planet, you know, and we broke apart. But here we are again, still here. But it was that was a great band, though. It was a great band.
Man, so y'all been featured on like some different albums as well. I know MSXI Audio puts out like a beat tape every now and then, man, because they got dope sound, you know, drum kits, sample kits, like anything you want. Man. Loop packs.
I rock with them tough. That's Texas, baby. I rock with them tough.
yeah, man.
Simp and DSTL, Daniel Steele. I actually converse with Daniel Steele from time to time. He's a good brother, real good brother, and Simp too. They're some good brothers, and I love to support that black business right there, straight up. I love them cats. Yeah, I know the track you're talking about. That's on featured on one of their
theatrics. It's
tapes,
called theatrics.
You know. Theatrics. That's a dope cut.
Not forget that you got DSTL to do the remix, right?
Yeah, the remix for Came Back. He did a remix for us on the record store on the basement. Yeah, he did that on. So I tap in with that cat from time to time. He is on another planet. He's not from here. I'm telling you, DSTL. And if you can get him on here and talk to him about it, he's incredible musician and a good person too.
Man, so MSXI Audio, man, has been doing. I think I learned about them maybe 7 years ago. It might have been 7 years ago when I was just getting started creating music, right? So, and then they doing loop packs and stuff like that, and I'm like, all right, if I need sounds, like I'm going to them. Like I didn't know they were in Texas.
Yeah, you should do that.
So I got.
They will not disappoint you.
On my machine, I got like, what's that? Out the SP404, like all of the volumes 1 through 6. I got
whatever they give you.
You know what I mean?
They're gonna give you some heat.
Yeah, but okay. So you talking about people being not from this world, man? That's a good segue for my next question, man. Because there's some mutants that are not from this world. Chief Key, you named him. Like he's one of them that's like out of here. Like man, I don't even know. I call him our like D'Angelo-esque beat maker. Like he got that kind of aura to him. But they're on this journey of like music, self-discovery, creativity. So I wanted to ask each of you, if you could you give them something like that would like kind of help them in their journey, whether it's something you watched, something you listened to, or something you read?
Yo, what up? This is Mom's Rock. Just want to say a little something about Bap Notes, Rod Nice, the whole team, man. Like, I've known these cats for a really long time, back when your boy was doing the rap thing, late 90s, early 2000s. And we could cross paths a few times and everything. But one of the things I always tell my family too is like, the universe has this way of pulling people back in, and I feel like my homie Freeze and Bap Notes they're the ones who keep me locked into this shit. Like music for me has been kind of up and down, but I've been riding the wave the best I can, and every time I felt like it was ready to move on to a new chapter of life and whatnot, I would always have Bap Notes and Freeze kind of like lure me back in, or like bring me back into the fold, and kind of just re-inspire me over and over, man. So it's like, from that level, Like, man, I owe a lot of me, my career in music to Bap Notes and the whole team for just the inspiration alone, man. Like, and to feel like, you know, to be included in such a dope unit, man. Like, the music and talent that is in this team is crazy. Like, man, it's a blessing for sure, man. Like, I would go to Rod Nice's house, like one of the last times I felt like I was kind of done with this shit. Go over to Rod Nice's house. He told me to come over, play some beats and everything, and I was nervous as fuck. But you know, he was rocking with it, man, and you know, blessed me with a bunch of packs, some sounds and shit, and you know, that just fueled a whole other fire too, man. Like, it's just crazy, dude. Like, the growth and the knowledge that these cats are willing to share. We talk about the music scene all the time, and you know, the way things are now is not how they used to be. And I'm just so grateful that like the big the OGs are willing to share information and just kind of keep everybody in the fold. And man, like Rod Nice, man, it's much love, dude. That's family. The whole Bap Notes team, for real. Bap Notes has been involved with Flipabeatclub from the gate. All, you know, just words of encouragement, and then, you know, participating in giving us samples for the Flipabeatclub packs a couple of times. But even bigger than that, like, one of the main things that Flipabeatclub is active in the local scene is just the live performances and stuff. And so, you know, the love that Rod Nice shares with, you know, blessing us with some equipment. Like, if we didn't have this live sound set up, you know, alone like that, dude, everything would be different, a lot different. Like, on some b-boy shit, you know, the sound system got to be right, and people are gonna recognize the sound. They're gonna hear the slap from down the block, and you know, we owe that to Bap Notes for sure, man. Like, it's a blessing, bro. Like, a lot of the stuff that the Flipabeatclub is active in, like, it wouldn't happen without Bap Notes. So, you know, that's family, that's partner. You know what I'm saying? Much love. Every time they invite me to come and play some drums, finger drum on the MPC with the live sets, like, I'm excited every time, man. Like, even though they be throwing them curveballs at the last minute, changing up the songs and the routines and whatnot, you know, it's a fun challenge, and it's amazing to me how we could just lock in and maybe not even know what we're gonna play, but we could just come up with some stuff on the spot, and it just sounds fly. Like, it's a good vibe. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to say, man, sum it up, like, just much love, Bap Notes, Rod Nice, the whole camp, bro. Like, true inspiration. That's my OG. That's my big brother. That's family. Man, and I'm just looking forward to seeing all the dope music that's gonna come out. I know he's holding on to some shit. We get another pack, bro. Peace.
Thank you for listening. And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Since I got my mic open, I'm gonna chime in first. It's two things. Number one is don't stop. Just keep creating, and don't get stuck on one idea. And number two is it takes you a long time to play like yourself. It takes you a long time to play like yourself. You can sample things, you can sample this person and that person, but that's them. You can change it around, make it you, but that's them. But it takes you a long time to play like yourself. And, you know, like I said, number one, don't stop. You're gonna, it's like it's like the Idaho hills. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down. But the more you stay with it, the more you stay up. The more you stay with it, the more you stay up. So I'll let everybody else chime in.
Dirty Moments, you can chime in. It's cool.
Yeah, I highly recommend Bap Notes albums, Record Store, volumes 1, 2, and 3, highly recommend. And if you got any time after that, DMKTZ versions, highly recommend. And then, what Rod was saying, that perseverance is really key, like everyone goes through those hills, like Rod was saying. I'd say be open to music, right? Be open to anything. If you get stuck listening to one thing, you're not open up your mind to all the different concepts. There's such amazing music out there, be it jazz, funk, hip hop, drum and bass, soul music. I mean, stay curious, right? Stay open to different genres of music so you can get influence. And that's all I have to say.
I'll piggyback on that. Like, I think an interesting thing that happens, I was just talking to somebody about this last night. I'm in New York for a hip hop ed conference. And so, we talk about hip hop and all these different ways that it lives and exists. Peace. And often, cats devalue them in stride with what Rod's talking about, like finding your sound is also finding you of what it means to, right? Because I was talking last night about cats that I see who maybe used to MC or used to make beats, and I see them now and they're not doing it. It's like, that's what I did X amount of life, right? And unfortunately, some people don't find that value in that and recognize the importance and impact that it has on you just as a human, right? Like, it's one thing that you make dope music, but it also fulfills you. It gives you a peace of mind. It impacts your world, the community around you, right? And so finding that value as a result of those strides that Rod Nice talked about, Dirty Mumbles talked about, all those pieces are building blocks to really understanding the value in that process.
Man, I appreciate that insight, I keep saying Mr. Brown, man. Russ, Mr. Brown, if do you want to unmute your mic, go ahead and you can chime in as well. You might not. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I had to get on the road for a minute.
Okay. All right.
And so while I was driving, I was only getting bits and pieces. So I kind of in the dark right now.
So we were talking about, we got a lot of, mutants. When I say mutants, I mean like people, my listeners that are creating music, whether it be beat maker, music producer, or anything like that. But if there's something that you would recommend to them to help them on their journey, whether it be something that you watched, something you listened to, or something you've read.
Well, definitely listening. Be open to all of. I mean, I like listening to classical music. I love strings, especially cellos. Maybe because the voice of a cello is very similar to a guitar, but there's just such a wealth of music out there, and you just never know what you might hear that might trigger some new territory for you. Some new creative process might jump out of it. Just be open and listen more. I think that's the biggest thing that as musicians that is essential for us, especially when we are working together, is listening. And especially to each other when we are performing or working together in any kind of environment, when we're collaborating, whatever, supporting each other. So a lot of it is just listening, but it doesn't stop there. Listen to the sounds that are out there vibrating around you, and just be open to it.
And as all these cats are sharing, it also reminds me that it's important you find your community. You know what I mean? Like, we are communal beings. And so to find, it's one thing just to have support, but it's also about like engaging other being around other creatives, right? And like just catching that wave of the different frequencies they show up with can impact you and cultivate you in so many ways.
Man, amazing insight, from the from the greats. So my next question is going towards like live performance, right? Because y'all do live performances all the time. What's something you had to be disciplined about before and after the show?
Performing live requires stamina. So, which part of it, a big part of it is health, spiritual health, physical health. It all contributes to it. We can't walk out on stage and just I'm be decrepit. It's going to be reflective in our music. So that in itself, just to keep your body tempo healthy to perform, and is significant and important. Oh, is that your little girl? Is that a girl?
It's my little one. Yeah. She trying to hide her face. Say hi to everybody. Oh my gosh. But yeah, anybody else could chime in on that as well.
To me, is preparation. Being prepared. When you come to perform, it's one thing to to freestyle and just make stuff up there. But we do, trust me, we've done that plenty of times. We've come into gigs and all right, let's just play. Let's not worry about it. Let's just play. And we know what shows to do that on, and we know what shows not to do that on. But to me, it's just if you prepare, practice, and like you said, like Russell said, take care of your health, take care of your mind, body, your soul, and you should be okay to play the music, and that's one thing, and then not to be worried about some external substances to get you where you're trying to go musically, because the music itself makes me high. It makes the endorphins in my head make me feel good, period. So that's what I think before and after a gig is what it's all about. Have some discipline, because you're not only representing yourself, but you're representing this whole group of people too,
I agree. Anybody else want to chime in on that as well?
I don't. Yeah, no, interesting. Just thinking about live, like something about the live performance. There's that physical and mental element that Russ talked about. But as you perform, when you're like, back to that frequency point, like there's moments when we perform as a collective that you just it just finds a vibe. You become this kind of uniform or this unified kind of projection, right? And I say that to the point that the further you get into performing live, the more you should become a student of what that is, right? And so entering spaces, like I mentioned Flipabeatclub earlier, like I'll pull up to those spaces, whether I'm hosting or not, and I'll find there's like poets there, there's MCs there, and they're there just to catch that energy that's been being projected, right? And when cats that show up to perform are dialed in and they've thought about and have really kind of committed to the prep of what they're going to present, whether it's the sound, whether it's the dynamics of the sound, there's the little nuances that really shape and create a moment that people pull up for, right? And as you become a creator, as you perform more, you should be pulling up for that same kind of engagement. So any space you enter, you're constantly in this like pen and pad out, right? I'm taking notes on like, yo, he killed it, but what was about he or she did that killed it, right? Like it was like, yeah, it was a beat set, or it was this guy was freestyling or whatever. She was singing, he was singing. But what about it? Like, what are the nuances that really can cultivate that skill set? And so we always talk about, like, we're always, reshaping. That's the dope thing about having a live band, like from a hip hop perspective. And not that you can't do that with an MPC and the turntables or whatever, but we're constantly like, how do we reshape this next performance to make, and we're also musical, like we get into these deeper musical conversations that maybe not everybody in the room might catch that one little change or that one kind of flip that we did. But there's somebody in the room and you can see like those eyebrows perk, and it was like, okay, that's why we did it. We did it for that person right there. So there's something about that creative challenge to constantly cultivate and grow how you perform. And it takes all those elements that Rod and Russ had mentioned as well.
Okay, so y'all can create anything in the world. Like there's a million billions of things that you can create, but all of y'all chose to create music. Why? Why create music?
For me, it felt I felt the frequency, right? It was something that moved me, physical, mental. I don't know what it is. It just felt like this is what I should be doing. I can't put it's I know some people just do something different, I'm trying to tell my wife why I feel this is important to me. She don't get it,
Exactly, yeah.
I just don't understand, but and same with other family members. Some people have it, some people don't. But I think it's a good thing, but there are also people who love just listening to music. But it's the creation part, the creation part. It doesn't matter if it sounds good or bad. It's the doing, the sound, the elements. They all have meaning to me, at least to me. I'm not too sure about the rest of the folks here, but that's another thing that we have in common. That's how I can speak the same language to Rod and the same language to Freeze and Russ, because we have that common thing. I don't know what it is, but that's how we found each other for sure.
Yeah, for me, why music? It's why not? I mean, to me, it's my getaway. It's my spaceship. It's what sends me to another dimension or planet or solar system or universe. It's how I get to go to a black hole and survive. I couldn't imagine life without music. It's always been around me from listening to my dad play Bobby Humphries and Donald Byrd and Miles Davis, and my mom playing hip hop and funk records and, all this stuff. It's just been a part of my life. I've been around musicians all my life. It's just been there, so it's one of the first loves, it's, that's just simple and plain for me. It's just, it has this effect that makes me high. It gives, just, and when I'm feeling bad, I'll go and create, or I'll listen, put on some Brazilian music, some Brazilian jazz or something, just go away. It takes the stress of life away from me. So that's it for me.
I'll jump in because Rod's point is similar to mine. Like we grew up, if you're lucky enough to grow up with music, your parents or whatever household and spaces you travel through to have music just as the air around what you did, whether it's during eating food or just spending time together. Like their stories anchor that a part of your identity, right? And so the music becomes part of that anchor. And so as you as you look and as you learn more about yourself, you realize like as humans, I try not to go too far off because I'm on my hip hop edge shit right now, but as humans, every culture has these like anchored pieces, no matter where you from in the whatever part of the planet you from, music is an anchor in every culture. Mm-hmm. So it's part of our DNA. It's part of us, right? And so some of us, to Dirty Mumble's point, is like some of us are lucky enough to be committed to finding that part of our DNA and engaging it consistently, right? Because we realize what that does for us. It helps us survive moments. It helps elevate and tell stories. The 12th Street joint. Yep. And it becomes the air, you know what I mean? And you realize that it's actually a part of our design, right? It's us. And so Dirty Mumble mentioned, like, that's how we communicate with each other. Like, we collectively, like, as a larger picture, New York, hey, we out here. That's the thunder, raining in New York. But music is that it just transcends, man, in so many ways that people can find solace in it, find identity, find a shoulder to cry on, an upliftment, right? And I think we relish in that pathway, right? We love venturing into that and contributing to it. That's the other layer, like becoming a creative and becoming an artist. Like, you get to add and create to that tapestry. So it's man. You can talk about it for days. It's so like music and what it does and why I think it speaks to me and anybody in here.
Got you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that insight. Russell Brown. So if you have anything to add, you just gotta unmute. I don't need the camera because I know you're driving.
So for us that create music, it's like a thread that's running through everything that we do. It's sewing every aspect of our being together. It's what's holding it together through almost any circumstance or situation that you have to deal with. Music will make it better if you're able to create it, if you're able to just sit down and listen deeply and intently. So it's like air for myself, and I think the vibrations that we create, it permeates everything. That not only with what we see, but just out there in the world, on the planet, you know. So how do you, especially those of us that are fortunate enough to create music, you know, it's like we don't really have a say in it. It's, you know, it's part of our being. It's the essence of who we are. That's all I got to say.
Got you.
I love that. I love that.
I appreciate that. All y'all basically said the same thing, man. It's just woven into our DNA as a people, man. As a, you know what I mean, as we live on this earth, like the birds singing, that's music. Like, you know what I mean? The cars door slamming, that's music. That's what you say, Taki with the spoon, dropping the spoon, boom, that's music. Like, it's a frequency in every single thing, like whether you want to believe it or not, man. So I thank y'all for y'all insight on that question. Last two questions because I know y'all busy men. What's the one thing you wish you knew before you started on this music journey? And how did you overcome it?
I always thought it was going to be easy. Like, I got these ideas in my head, trying to execute it, it just doesn't work out, you know. But it goes back to one of your first questions, the responses. It was the perseverance to keep going, right? So I got this drum pattern in my head. I'm driving the car and I go da, 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 da. I'm coming up with music in my head and think of a new drum pad or a new drum beat I want to program out. But when I program it out, it sounds like the old ones I've been doing, you know? So again, it goes back to perseverance, you know? Keep, and then what Rod said, just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. It does get easier the more you learn, you know? Educate yourself. Actually watch people drumming, or actually watch people playing guitars. Listen to how the rhythm is and the notes they're using. The key, if you're playing keys, learn the chords, you know. I've still got to learn that. But it's not easy. It's like drawing, right? It's like any other creative process. It just needs practice, 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 practice. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It's just got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it. That's what I have to say. Might not work for everyone else.
For me, the one thing I wish I knew before we started doing music was how to deal with people. You know, when it comes to a band, and I'm fortunate enough to have met good people along the way, but it's been some bad people too. But I've been lucky to be an even-keeled person. Thank God for that, because I've ran into plenty of assholes when it comes to this music stuff. You know, that was one thing I wish I knew before I started really getting into bands. But the band thing is, it's good. So that's it right there. It's just learning how to deal with different attitudes. It's like herding cats sometimes, you know.
I think I'll just chime in since I'm one of the cats you be herding. You know, I feel like early on, there's this, I don't know if this is like mirroring Dirty Mumble's point, but like early on as you start to work on your craft, like you're like, yo, I want to make a D'Angelo song, right? Like I want to be on that level. And, you know, it's about one, like, yeah, okay, you could try to make a sound like D'Angelo, but eventually you got to find what's your sound, like what is your thing in your creative lane, like how do you develop that? And so I think early on, and that might have been, you know, maybe you're not ready to hear it at that point. Somebody might have shared that with me early on. But, you know, having a clear vision that what you develop needs to really come back to being who you are is one of the most important things, right? And not just from a like output standpoint of like what it sounds like, but also like the joy that comes out of it in that process is as a result of you being like rooted in your authenticity and rooted in kind of your sound, right? And so all those things that come out of that's the piece that, you know, it would have been dope to know, but I think it's also maybe dope just to learn by process. So yeah, kind of a hard question to come with, because I think something about learning as a result of the process is almost doper than somebody just giving you the answer.
Let's go to the last two questions, right? So, Bap Notes music, man. When people see y'all name on the marquee of, you know, Slim and Huskies or 12's Wax or anything like that, like, what is the experience they're gonna get when they come to watch and listen to y'all play y'all sets?
What's the experience they're gonna have? Well, it just depends on. We're so versatile. It just depends on where we at and what is requested of us. We may come with Mons Rock playing finger drums, you know. We may come with a live drummer. We may come with me, EJ, and Freeze. We may come with me, EJ, Freeze, and Russell, and some drum loops. We may come with David Pritchard playing the drum loops. We may come with Courtney Miller playing the drums, or David Kaplan or Mark Knox playing drums. It just depends on what's requested of us. You know, say if we're getting invited to a jazz club, we're going to come and do Bap Notes music, but we're going to do jazzy stuff in our own way. We'll come with Freeze, and he'll rhyme over jazz stuff. He'll sing over jazz stuff. It just depends on what is requested of the Bap Notes. And that's the best way I can do that one.
Yeah, yes. And I'll have a short addition to Rod's point, as he brought up, like, no matter which way we form as Voltron, because obviously it sound, there's multiple formations of what it can look like, it's always going to slap. Like, you can guarantee there's going to be some smack involved in it. It will never be a soft thing. Like, that's just not what we do. Like, it's just not going to be soft. There's going to be some, and not, when I say smack, it's not like the volume got to be loud, but there's just a chunkiness about it. Like a funk, boom bap element that's woven into no matter what formation pulls up. That's going to be there. Like, for sure.
Man, so I gotta say, what y'all did with the Tiny Wax sessions with you, Dr. Freeze, Maz Rock, you Rod, man. I was like, and that's just on IG when I was watching. I was like, man, I would love to be at one of y'all shows, man. So I gotta get out to one of y'all shows eventually. So anytime y'all have a show, man, let me know. Boom, I'm gonna blast that out to, the people that follow the Rec Show podcast, and even on my artist one as well. But yeah, man, the music that y'all create is needed. Last question, and anybody can chime in as well, because I know y'all got group, but then y'all got your own individual projects as well. So what can we expect from Bap Notes as a group in the rest of 2023? Any live performances, any albums coming out that we need to be tapped into? But then also on a individual level, what do y'all have coming out in 2023 that y'all can plug to the people?
Well, this next thing we got coming is Up From the Mud. It is a album written by Russell Brown, where he has given me some guitar tracks of him just playing guitar, and gave me some chord sheets, and we performed around his guitar playing. And that is a pretty incredible piece of music, I must say, that Russell has written. And it's quite a good project that it's going to be dropping here pretty soon. It's something to look forward to. It's an experience. He did some incredible writing. It came out pretty good too. You got to imagine getting guitar tracks and putting music around just guitar tracks. There you go. You got to wrap your head around that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And then also, I did Underdog's Manifesto, Underdog's Power Cosmic, and I also did, I'm doing stuff with, I did the sound scoring for The Gray Zone, which is from Let the Dollar Circulate, a company that I'm involved in. And Dr. Adam Freeze is coming with a project. We've been poking and prodding along the way, just it's taking a little longer for that one because we got families and stuff like that, but that's something to look forward to. So I'll let Freeze talk about that.
Yeah, so the collab with Rod Nice, we've been cooking on that thing, making sure the seasonings are right. But we also, and this, that's the thing about our process, like, because we have sessions, like Maz Rock will pull up and it'll evolve into a different direction, So then other things pop out, like all of a sudden, then Roboplex pulls up and it becomes a new thing and another thing, right? So we have a little kind of collaborative collective called DMKTZ, which is kind of a catch-all of them cats. about to, so we got a little project. Was like for them cats, which is a kind of a boom bap soul hip hop kind of thing that's on the way as well. So, and then along the way, before you know it, another beat tape drops. Like that's how, like that last, the 3-headed beat tape there.
Yeah,
Rod.
We got like 3 beat tapes coming from the beat shows that I'm just gonna drop on everybody too. So this is beat done with it,
Yeah, we excited. We're excited for that. Dirty Mumbles, and then Russell Brown. Anything that the people can look forward to for the rest of 2023, other than what Dr. Freeze and Rod said.
Just following up what Rod said about the Russell's album, Up From the Mud, is something truly special. It really is. I can't wait for that to drop. And then I have got hundreds of these samples and tracks I've made with Freeze in mind and Rod in mind. So at some point this year, I want to come up with an album, do a live set, 12 wax, and have Freeze spit over some of them. And that's just need some help from Rod to give me some vision on where we go, which direction. So that's
all good. I got you.
Yeah. I meant for maybe forget. Yeah, Dirty Mumbles been sending me some smackers.
Man, get ready. Get ready.
Yeah. I was like, I'm already.
Once the baby's done, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
There it is.
Hey, as quiet as it kept on that DMKTZ tape, the Dirty Mumble set is the best set on that whole tape. He's killing it.
I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
That's why we need the vinyl, yo. We need the cassette, yo. Like, oh my gosh, man.
Okay, welcome that.
Man, it's such an incredible album, man. Russell Brown, like anything to add to that?
Not really. I mean, they've pretty much covered it all. It'll be like, for me, other duties as assigned. They'll call me to fill in here or come do or whatever, So it's just all the family, So they pretty much touched on everything that's going on with me and enlightened me to some things that I didn't know about. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Up From the Mud, everybody. Listen, and some additional beat tapes coming out from Bap Notes Music. I'm super excited. There was, I can't let y'all go without talking about these samples. The samples that y'all create and put together, sample packs that y'all put together. People, like, there's 3 packs on y'all website right now, man. Bap Notes, bapnotesmusic.com. Go check it out, man. I got the Cosmics one. I already created like 2 tracks before I got on to do the interview today. I'm like,
right on.
Yo.
We just did the Smack Pack 16. We did some samples on that. Me, Russell, and EJ got together and we did them in one day. Whatever we came up with, we just sent over, And we, Fuego Drums, Courtney Miller, he did the drums. And, like I said, we pretty much did it all in one day. And that was that, mixed them and sent them in,
Man, incredible. Yo, for my sample beat makers, man, I need y'all to go to bapnotesmusic.com, check out and support all 3, samples. I think it's 10 on the Cosmics ones that I got. 10 full compositions. All right, these are full compositions that you get to go ahead, chop up, flip, all of that type of stuff. Tag Bap Notes Music. I'm gonna tag y'all on what I created too today. But man, y'all do an amazing job with the sample packs. More to come, man. I'm gonna try and get the other 2, the first 2 that y'all put out as well. But Cosmic is the one that Cosmic Melodies, I think that's what it's called, right? That's the one that it just stuck in my head. The sounds in it was like, yeah, I need to grab this one, yo. So I grabbed that. Boom. I might make a whole beat tape out of that one, yo. It's so good, yo. So, yo, Bap Notes Music.
That's what it's for, brother.
Yo.
That's what it's for.
Man. So, yo, it was an honor to chat up and talk to y'all about music, man, about y'all's albums, about y'all's performances. Yo, a lot more people are gonna be hip to y'all. Yo, keep doing y'all's thing, man. I just want to make sure I got the names. We got Russell Brown, we got Mark Knox, we got Rod Nice, we got E-Quest, we got Courtney Miller, we got Darius Upshaw, we got Dirty Mumbles, we got Dr. Freeze. Yo.
Yes, sir.
We got Maz Rock, who's, you know what I mean, drops in too.
Yep.
Man, like, yo, that's Bap Notes Music as a band. If you're in the Sacramento, California area and you see that on the marquee, Bap Notes Music, just go ahead, stop what you're doing, go ahead, take a seat, buy a ticket, sit down, enjoy the show, man. Because the music that y'all put out on YouTube, and some of it is from like 2016, 2019, it's still fire, yo. Like, it's still fire, man. So I'm excited for y'all, man. I'm excited for what y'all bringing. I can't wait for this tape. The tape that you sent me last night, I'm like, oh. He said I wouldn't give it to nobody, yo. But when I'm listening, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for everybody to hear what I heard first, yo.
It's just some stuff, you know what I mean? These cats ain't even heard it, so I'm gonna send it to them too, because they're gonna be pressing me now. And what you mean you sent it?
All right, that was my next.
It's some stuff that I had just put together for the show that I can play in the background while we're talking. So I'll send it to y'all too. Yeah. Y'all heard some of it, but some of it.
Yeah, but on the flip side, man, shout out to you, man, for having the direct show joint, man. Like, I've been seeing
episode 99. You're on your way to 100.
Man, that's dope.
Keep going, brother. Keep going.
Yeah, man. An important piece to the culture, man. The important piece.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate y'all. I appreciate
Ears
y'all, man.
is wide open. You receiving all the frequencies, man.
Yeah, man. Big love, man.
Appreciate that, y'all. I'm gonna keep going, man. Like, every now and then my wife would get on me because I'll be spending too much time in here doing interviews and stuff like that. But like, I just love it, man. I love what I do. I love getting to chop it up with y'all, to talk to y'all about music and what goes into music and the mindset and everything like that.
That's part of the game, man.
Yeah.
The wives, they keep us balanced. Quiet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be eating or nothing. I'd just be in the lab.
Yeah, true.
Right. And maybe I'm not in the loop, man. But man, I feel like you should have a rec show compilation drop, man. You should be have these cats submitting you exclusive tracks for,
Yeah.
A little rec show.
Get your game up, man. Get your game up.
Like, yo, send me some.
This cat right here will come with some ideas on you, man.
Yo, you just gave me an idea, yo.
Let's go, you can.
Man, okay, man. Because if I could get that, man, all right. I got to talk to y'all, man. I gotta have a Bap Notes one on there, yo, automatically, yo.
Oh man,
it's all good. Man.
Automatically,
all good.
Yeah, everybody. So that is the show, man. I want to thank my guests, Bap Notes Music, man. Everybody involved with Bap Notes Music as well, man. I want to go down the list one more time. Russell Brown, Mark Knox, Rod Nice, E-Quest, Courtney Miller, Darius Upshaw, Dr. Freeze, Dirty Mumbles, man. Mons Rock, man. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to y'all. It was an amazing interview. Hey, listeners, man, if y'all don't know, man, y'all know now. I need y'all to tap in with Bap Notes Music, man. Send them a message to be like, hey, I need that vinyl. The covers on these the record store albums are amazing, man. You need that. I need that just to have on my wall. besides to listen to the music. You know what I mean? So all 3 volumes are bangers. All right, Dope shares another album, man. Like, yo, the new one that they get ready to come out with, another banger, man. Check out DMKTZ. It's an album with Dirty Mumbles, Mons Rock, and Bap Notes music, man. So check that out. Yo, I hope y'all count y'all blessings and not y'all's problems. Have an amazing day, amazing week. And I'm gonna see y'all on another episode 100 coming up soon, yo. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you. Peace and love, y'all.
These scribes have rise like a page from an ancient text, in a pattern that computers can't even catch yet. But know these vibes will engage even the best flex, providing smack as the Joe folks like it's a death threat. Bring it back to basics, drum keys and the bass flip. Live on the bandstand, samples played in the basement. Fly note, blueprint, boom bap, adjacent, directly funneled into your artery casing. My mind wanders like spin cycles, a laundry mass. I pen alchemy, truth spews out of me after that. It's been a pleasure, the new measurements, my aftermath. So get the cliff notes study and see me after class. And for the veteranos, new tunes may feel like a foreign exchange, but step up off your blues and find the purest flames. Light sleepers remain, been up since the AM pimping this beautiful slang. I reminisce so you never forget this. The days are way, way, way back. I see the bliss of the sun's rising. The days to come back. I reminisce so you never forget this. The days are way, way, way back. I see the bliss of the sun is arising. The days to come back. Yeah. Swinging a phrase that you might not get. Bap Notes the resurrected here to wake up shit. Shake up bliss, find progression in the struggle when we break off kids. Exposing problematic thinking when we take off lids. Dismantle your favorite pastime. Just for kicks ain't really about no axe grind. Find racist in the fine line print. Even a makeshift Molotov gone in a glimpse. Appear in the smoke of the aftermath, kick still mint. Delete and repeat till we down to the studs and build on liberatory stories cultivated in mud. You couldn't see me with FaceTime. Pen game, crafted an oasis in the baseline. My crew culinary is scary how we can taste vibes and translate them for the people to dine. But no, my shit's gonna take time. I reminisce so you never forget this. The days are way, way, way back. I see the bliss of the sun rising. The days to come back. I reminisce so you never forget this. The days are way, way, way back. I see the bliss of the sun is arising. The days to come back. Things go inside. Remember back. Don't you know? Remember back. Don't you know? Remember back in the days. Things go inside. Remember back in the days. Things go inside. Don't you know that things go inside? Remember back in the days. I write in the night to bring truth to the light. Things go inside.
Hey yo, I'm in the alleyway, scallywags trying to get my pay. Lifted from my bank, gotta watch how I shake. Yo, I bake the recipe for the whole place, we all eat. Don't be alarmed that we hard, G. You hardly got the muscle to be flexing any chip on your arm piece. I'm just being honest, don't try to speak knowledge. Proceed with caution, return playgrounds to cemetery-filled coffins. Yo, it's best if you get off them. What else? Awesome, they couldn't doubt it if they wanted. Another 1,000 for my point of view. Join the dudes, getting money, rocking fly shoes, and smoking on some shit that smell like hot chew. Smile as I ride right by you. You hear the Bap Notes groove, I give it to you like I never had a fuck to prove. But tell me what is new. You hear the Bap Notes grooves, I give it to you like I never had a fuck to prove. But tell me what is new. You hear the Bap Notes groove, I give it to you like I never had a fuck to prove. So tell me what is new. Yeah.
for others to see, so look fam, you lack the view. Ignore the marketing and scammers, guilt tripping, your mission to pack the pew. Find your own peace, and you may realize the least traveled path is one that helps you get back to you. And bypass the fast track to Scrooge. Mick ducking the haters, the only light your truth. And that's peace, power, purpose. 3 steps in the bubble goose. Word to Bones, Esquire for hire, ill sire with fire tools, jewels that won't run. Earth is just a small rock close to the sun. And you a child of that heat. Repeat, we all uno. Gripping the fact like Frankie Beverly doing judo. Salute. We all uno. Gripping the fact. Gripping the fact. Salute.
Who really tryna march when it be risk involved? I'm affected by my past, but y'all forget the cause. That PS5 ain't the only system these kids indulge. Sheesh, y'all should spread the word, at least I eat. But all this food come from the belly of the beast. Brothers is pushing bricks, look like a melanated grease. We should hash out these differences and celebrate and eat, capiche? I'm with freezers getting chilly in the city. I'll stack a milli way before the Lord come get me. I'll rock this stand for y'all, the inmate suit don't fit me. So much death in these streets, y'all don't hear me. Unity, my community needs some healing. How we getting all these buildings with no building? We need more programs in the summer for the children. Save a life and spread the love, now that's a feeling. Issa.
Lights represent every living person on the planet. The white lights are humans. And these are the mutants.
They tell like younger kids or other producers like that's cheating. You can't really be separate, but bro, like when it comes to this producing shit, you can do whatever you want.
You've been listening to the Rec Show podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Remember 3 things. Believe in your music. Take care of your mentals. Become the best version of yourself. Until the next one, Gldnmnd signing off. Peace and love, yo.
To be the best, you got to work overtime. To be the best, you got to work overtime.
These young boys getting better. This is not like the NBA when you can retire. Like this is, you have to keep going.